Welcome to Latte with a Lawyer, a podcast dedicated to bringing you the stories of some of America's most successful lawyers, figuring out what makes them tick, how they creatively solve problems, and how others aspiring to be them can follow in their footsteps.
Okay, everybody, good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of Latte with a Lawyer. I'm your host, Jonathan Brickman. And this afternoon, we have with us Ian Liao from the law firm YK Law. Nice to have you, Ian.
Thank you, Jonathan. Thanks for having me on your show today.
Oh, absolutely. So I know it's the afternoon, but Latte with a Lawyer, what's your morning beverage of choice to get started?
Morning coffee, but Mondays and Fridays, work days, I usually have a drip coffee, but weekends I get a little fancier, maybe Americano or a pour over coffee.
Okay, very good. Excellent. Good stuff. Yeah, anything to get a little caffeine in the system to get moving.
Oh, definitely. I'm a 2-3 cup coffee a day person, so can't really get through a day without it.
Same here. That's exactly what my intake is. And then now I'm drinking lots of water to counteract it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So tell us about the kind of work you do, your law practice.
So I'm a corporate lawyer, and I've been a corporate lawyer for over 20 years. But I do cross-border transactions, anything from M&A, investments, joint venture, technology transfer, any transaction that involves 2 or more jurisdictions, 2 or more set of laws. I mean, that's kind of my sweet spot. I spent over 15 years of my career living and practicing in Greater China. I was based in Taipei, Beijing, Shanghai, and I spent quite a bit of time in Hong Kong as well. So that's kind of the bread and butter of my practice. I also head up our corporate M&A practice for a firm. So that's basically that's what I do. That's transactions that I do.
Okay, so explain what the sort of that intercontinental or cross-border transaction business looks like. What does that mean?
We represent, for example, U.S. companies who want to invest or do business in China.
Okay.
Vice versa, Chinese companies who want to invest in or do business.
I see. Okay.
And it's not just China, U.S. That's kind of the focus a lot of my practice, given my experience, and because our firm YK Law is closely affiliated with a Chinese law firm, one of the largest Chinese law firms, and so that ended up to be the case. But we also do deal with Europeans and other Canadians and
sure. So give me an example of a transaction or a company and like an issue that you would handle.
So, for example, I just closed a deal not too long ago where we represented a startup, a medical device startup here in the U.S.
Okay.
They were being invested. They received an investment of over $4 million from this Chinese strategic investor. So we helped them with negotiating from term sheet to closing, and we helped them with navigating in terms of understanding how to negotiate with the Chinese counterpart, in terms of understanding sort of the cultural and business differences and similarities, and help them with that. Obviously, we put the documents together and we negotiate documents. But it's more than just the legal aspect of it. There's a business element and a cultural element to this relationship as well.
Yeah, and were they planning on also selling their medical device into the Asian markets as well, China and the rest of Asia?
Oh, definitely. I mean, that's why it's a strategic investor, because the Chinese side is in the same business or similar business. So part of this will also involve some sort of commercialization arrangement down the road.
Okay, that's what I assume. So a lot of these deals are they by strategic investors like you're describing?
Well, both strategic investors and financial investors, venture capital funds, and the likes. We also do quite a bit of acquisition transactions. So in terms of Chinese companies acquiring U.S. businesses, in my past, I mean, in the last few years, that tends to be the flow of deals coming from east to west. In my previous life, when I was based in Asia, a lot of my clients were, a lot of it were from west to east. So a lot of the U.S. companies setting up joint ventures and doing business in China, we representing the foreign investors into China. But
Yeah.
the last few years, being here in the U.S., I've been working more on east to west, and in terms of advising U.S. local company, U.S. based companies in terms of their transactions and their subsidiaries in China.
I see. Okay. Is there any particular focus, vertical, industry vertical? You mentioned medical device, but I mean, what other industries?
I mean, as a lawyer, we're pretty industry agnostic in terms of particular specialty. But and I have the pleasure and the good fortune of being able to work with many different companies, from traditional manufacturing, people who makes widgets and machines, to high tech like med tech, med device, semiconductors, and the likes. And we do everything between internet, e-commerce. So we have to, as a corporate lawyer, as a transaction lawyer, we have the luxury of working with different industries and getting to know what those industries do and learning about those industries.
Yeah. Where do you see most of the activity these days?
In terms of what we do, in terms of those transactions that involve China, I think healthcare and medtech, med device is a big space because they're very interested in growing that aspect of their economy. I think the traditional manufacturing and traditional businesses is still a major area. In the last, I would say 12 to 24 months, what we've been seeing a lot is Chinese company moving their U.S. business literally to the U.S. Because up to this point, they've been, before this whole trade tariff, they've been selling widgets and things from made in China to the U.S.
Right.
But with the supply chain issues and because of tariffs, I think they realized that they had to have a foothold in the U.S. market to service U.S. Customers and consumers.
So they're setting up shop in the U.S. That's interesting. Okay.
So we're actually working with several clients who sell goods to people like Lowe's and Home Depot, big box stores like that, and to say big chain stores like that, and they're being asked to move some of their supply and some of their inventory to the U.S. and customer service to the U.S. so that they can be real time interaction with between the customers and the supplier. The customers realize, I can't wait for you to send stuff from China because I don't know for sure you'll get here on time. And I think with the pandemic, everything that has happened, we're seeing a lot of movement in this area.
Oh, interesting.
Actually planting a presence here in the U.S.
Interesting. And West Coast mainly, I would imagine. West Coast?
No, I think it's all across. I think it would depend on where the customers are, right? So with people like the people like Lowe's and Home Depot, I think they're on the East Coast. I think the headquarters are on the East Coast. So Texas, Florida, North Carolina, Indiana.
Oh, okay, interesting. Well, I guess that's good for both sides, right? I mean, people are getting employed here locally.
Yeah.
You eliminate.
No, but I think West Coast continue to be, between Los Angeles and Houston, those are two areas that continue to be of importance to the Chinese clients of ours because of shipping, right? Because the harbor, because of
the big ports.
The ports, the LA port and the Houston port, those are two major entry points for a lot of the shipment coming from Asia.
Yeah, for sure. Interesting. And I see Taiwan, you said, as part of your background. So you're like in the middle of lots of sort of politics these days, right? Between China, Taiwan, the US.
Yeah.
How does that affect your business and operations?
Yeah, I think it's been very interesting for me. I was born in Taiwan, as you know, and I grew up in the U.S. We immigrated to the U.S. when I was 10 years old. So I like to say that it's a duality, it's Taiwanese and American. But I've also had pleasure of living and practicing in China, in mainland China, for, like I said, over since 2008. So I think I have a good balance of experience in terms of all three countries. And so I think this is one of the situations where I bring to the table for my clients, where I can help them navigate the current geopolitical situation.
Yeah, I would
not
think.
just,
Yeah.
not just legal, but in terms of Chinese clients dealing with U.S. sanctions, U.S. regulatory sanctions and other things, particularly like for example this current semiconductor sanction that's going on, in terms of working in this advising Taiwanese clients in terms of selling business to the Chinese. How do they navigate that, the geopolitical issue in terms of, because there are actually a lot of restrictions on Taiwan side in terms of selling businesses or foreign investment by the Chinese, and being able to navigate that for my client.
I would think
that's where I have some value add beyond just being an attorney.
Oh, sure. No, I would think so. You have a lot of insight there. I mean, I'm really interested in what's going to happen. I mean, Taiwan Semiconductor is pretty much monopolizes those specialty semiconductors, and where that's going to move from there to eliminate that geopolitical risk. It'll be interesting to see what happens there. Do you have any insight into that?
I don't. I mean, not any more than you.
Yeah.
I mean, all my information is coming from the news like everybody else.
Yeah.
But that being said, I think having worked with folks like TSMC and having worked with Chinese businesses, I think it's one of those things where you would have to figure out what's the best course for in terms of doing business. I don't think I like to think that the business don't stop just because there are these political issues that arise.
Yeah, but I wonder if Taiwan Semiconductor moves some of their operations to the U.S. Are they starting to do that?
Oh, they have. They have a plant they're setting up in Arizona, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's in Arizona. They're actually, I think it's up and running. They're hiring, people. They have, locally and sending folks from Taiwan to help build up this.
Okay, good.
In Arizona, and they'll continue to do that. I think they'll ramp up their production here in the U.S. as well. But I like to think that with the U.S. and China being the number one, number two economies of the world at this point, there's no way these two would stop doing business, because that's bad for everybody, right?
Right.
It's like your mom and dad fighting, right? It's no good for anybody.
Right. Well, I'm not qualified to comment. I just sort of watch what happens, and as a participant in the market, I wonder, because I mean, I think that's going to be an interesting space to be in the next 10 years of semiconductor space with the changes.
But I think that's also, in terms of overall investment and opportunity and business opportunities, it's semiconductor is a sensitive area. But I think in terms of the other areas, for example, the medtech device that I'm involved with, it's not a national security issue. It's not a sensitive issue, and we hope to continue that relationship between investors and target, because I mean, I think a lot of these startups needs funding, to develop better and life-saving devices.
Yes.
And China also needs the sort of the higher level technology in the healthcare space.
Yeah. Sure.
So I think it's a good combination, and I think this is an area that the two sides can continue to work with, aside from the geopolitical issues.
Yeah. Anyway, okay, good, interesting. I'm just curious about, just because of your experience, a personal interest. So how did you get started? I mean, to become a lawyer, how did that happen? I didn't grow up thinking that I'll be a lawyer. Nobody in my family, nobody in my immediate family worked in the industry. I was studying international business in college, international business and economics, and that was the path I wanted to get into. I want to get into business. I was flipping through one of these like Fortune or Forbes, magazine one day, and that happened to be featuring that particular magazine happened to be featuring like the Fortune 500 CEOs or something. And I noticed there's one commonality, like a lot of them have a law degree. Okay.
And I'm like, well, that's interesting. This is in the early '90s, and everybody and their brother was getting an MBA, and so I thought, well, that's going to be, everybody's going to have an MBA. I'm going to do something different, and I thought, that's interesting that a lot of these CEOs have a law degree. So let's look at that path. Now, at that point, I was thinking that I'll get my law degree and I'll continue to go back into
Go back to
business and
business.
corporation.
Yeah.
But that turned out to not be the case. I continue my private practice. I've been in private practice over 20 years now.
Oh, I see. Interesting. Well, you could have got a JD MBA like a lot of these programs.
Yeah, I did. I think after going through 3 years law school, I had enough. After
You had
3 years
enough.
law school, I had enough schooling altogether.
Yeah, I actually had a woman on yesterday that did an undergraduate business degree, no, English, yeah, English, and then did a JD MBA at for law school. So
right, and part of it because I went to Baylor University.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, yep.
And Baylor had a program at that time where you go to 3 years undergrad and apply to the law school. And if you get in, you can skip your 4th year. So I took advantage of the program and I did apply. Luckily I got into Baylor Law School.
Oh, so you went straight through. I see. Okay.
So I went straight through, and so I was able to save a year. And once you complete your first year, once you pass your first year of law school, you still get an undergraduate degree. So you save a year of time and money.
Oh, okay, that's very good. I didn't realize they had that. Yeah, Baylor. So Baylor's in Waco, right? Texas.
Waco, Texas.
I got it. I lived in Dallas for a very short period of time, and in fact, someone I was friendly with had gone to Baylor University. How'd you like that? How'd you like Texas compared to the West Coast?
Well, I mean, keep in mind that I was in Waco back in the early '90s, so it's really not the same as Waco now.
Yeah.
We would spend all our weekends up in Dallas because that's where where the actions were.
Right.
And so, but I think what was there for about 6-7 years, living and studying there. And then as soon as I was done, I was like, okay, I'm going to go to California and get licensed there. So I'm licensed in California. I'm not licensed in Texas.
Oh, I see.
Where I wanted to end up.
Okay, very good, very good. So no one else in your family? Do you have a family now in Irvine?
No, just most of my family is still in Hawaii. That's where I grew up. My parents and my sisters are still in Hawaii. So
Hawaii.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's a relatively short trip, right? 5 hours to get to Hawaii.
That's not bad. It's pretty close. But I think most time my family want to come visit me because they want to get off the island.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
I think island fever is a real thing. They all want to get off the island and come visit us here in California.
Okay. Well, I know a lot of Americans covet Hawaii. They really want to go to Hawaii.
Yeah, it's a great place to visit. I don't know if it's, I think for the folks who live there, it's meant to get off the island.
Yeah, nice to get off. It's a little isolating.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. So is this where you're going to stay? You're a partner in the firm and you're settled at this law firm.
Right now I head up. I'm a partner with White Law. I head up our corporate M&A practice. I also manage our Irvine office. So I do work several hats. And so never say never, but
right.
This is where I am right now, and I'm fully vested in terms of obviously servicing clients, providing legal services, but also helping manage the office and help and provide some administrative support for the firm.
Oh, good. How big's the law firm? How many people?
We're not a very big law firm. We're about 35 partners.
Okay.
Through 4 or 5 offices in the U.S.
Okay.
As I said, I'm based in Irvine, California. We're an office in Los Angeles, New York, Dallas, and Miami.
Okay, and yeah, I'm on the East Coast. I'm in South Florida, so you have an office in Miami.
Yeah.
Okay, is that a relatively new office or?
It's relatively new, and it's not a big office there. We have a partner who joined us, and who's
I see.
The office. Yeah.
Okay, very good. And do you ever get involved with litigation, or is that just not part of what you do?
Only peripherally. I don't do litigation. That's not my area of expertise, and but only in terms of client coordination, client handling for my clients who are involved in litigation.
Oh, I see. Okay.
We have litigators who actually do the heavy lifting, who actually go to court, who actually draft the briefs and all that.
You have people in the firm that do litigation?
Yeah, we have litigation partners and associates who actually do the litigation.
And is it all commercial business related litigation?
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah.
We don't do criminal law. We don't do family law. So we
defense. You're defending your clients, I would imagine, right?
For commercial litigation, it could be defending my clients against lawsuits or suing for breach of contract. We can be
Okay.
plaintiff or defendant.
Got it. I see. Okay. Very good. Excellent.
I mean, with the pandemic, if you don't just interrupt you for a second, but like with the pandemic, we were doing a lot of litigation for Chinese clients trying to collect against their customers in the U.S. I mean, we're talking about major company, major store chains, and they're behind on their payment to their suppliers, Chinese suppliers. So we were doing quite a bit of those back, last few years.
Oh, I see. Interesting. And is that? I mean, is the supply chain improved? I mean, those issues going away now?
I think they've gotten better. I mean, I have no insight into whether it's going to go away.
Well, I mean, less litigation. Less litigation. I would assume
yes,
would be a proxy.
So, yes, we have gotten less matters that involve sort of collection on these accounts payables.
Oh, good.
It is, and not the same amount, and not you talking about the amount not the same amount as it was back a few years ago.
Oh, good. Yeah. Well, I would assume that's some kind of a proxy for the supply chain getting back to a healthy operation. Good. Excellent. And okay, and technology for the firm. We're a legal tech firm, so curious about your use of technology for the firm and what your views are on that.
So, well, we're a relatively new firm. I mean, we've only been around for about four years. When we started this firm, one thing that we wanted to do is take advantage of the technology available to the legal profession. We also want to be a traditional. So we want to be, traditional in the sense that we have a brick and mortar office. We want to meet people. We have clients that and that we want to work together as one firm, as a team. So we're not these. A lot of the new firms are more virtual, and they sort of just join up like they're very individual, very silent. We're not. We're a team, and we have a brick and mortar offices in the places that we're located at.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we also take advantage of a lot of technology that's available to lawyers these days, from timekeeping softwares, from communication devices, and data storage devices, data search and document processing softwares. We engage all of those things.
Okay.
For example, like our phone system. I mean, it seems pretty simple, but the way that our phone system is set up and the software that we use allows that as long as when our desktop phone, the phone on our desk goes off, my cell phone also rings. So they're interconnected. It's not a foreign. They both ring at the same time. So so that even if I'm out of the office, I can continue to be connected to my clients. I don't miss a phone call. Nobody needs to take a message. And then when somebody needs, even if I can't take the call and then leave a voicemail, that voicemail comes to my phone, and both in audio form and in text form. So you send an email to my email with the text of the voicemail.
Very good. Yeah, good. I'm glad to see that. Yeah, I mean, everybody is leveraging technology to become more efficient. Good stuff. So, just in closing here, what do you want people to know about your firm, and what's the best way to connect?
So we can be reached on our website at yklaw.us, and that's the best way to get to know our firm. Like I said, we're small and firm, but I think our strength, as I said, is cross-border transaction, cross-border matters, particularly if you're looking to do transactions and deals or doing business with Asia. Because of our relationship with the firm in China, they have like over 10,000 lawyers in China, 94 offices there. So we do have the resource that most of the U.S. firms, I would say, none of the U.S. firms would have in terms of China. I understand things are a little bit difficult right now between the U.S. and China, but I think that in the long term, that's gonna there's got to be somewhere around it, and that's kind of where you need our services too, because if you're already doing business there, you need to figure out how to navigate sort of the current geopolitical situation. We like to say that we're here to support U.S. clients because we're in your backyard, we're in your time, we may not be in your same time zone, but we're close, enough, right? You don't have to wait till your lawyer wake up in Shanghai or Beijing or whatever. We provide you with, real solid China practice experience because me and several of my partners have worked in China for extended period of time, and we actually done deals both representing the U.S. side as well as the Chinese side.
Okay, good, excellent, good to know. Thank you. Well, listen, it's been good spending time with you, learning about your business. Ian Liao with YK Law, and this show is sponsored by EmotionTrac, which is a legal tech platform that helps litigators prepare for mediation and trials. So thanks again, Ian. Pleasure.
Thank you, Jonathan.
You bet.